Yeah. It's been a while since I've done a video. I had a lot of work, and I live in Northern California. There's a lot of rain and cold, and all my paint's in the garage, so it doesn't really work too well. And I just really kind of wanted to take a break, so I did. Anyway, I'm back. I am still working on the K2SO, so I'll be finishing that up. Now that the weather's nice, I can get the paint on there, get the decals on there, get it all together, and then do the last video, which I'll focus on doing the weathering on K2SO. But for this one, this is the Moebius 1/5 scale Batgirl model resin kit. This is the same figure that will be for the 1/8 scale plastic series for the whole 66 Batman TV series figure kits that Moebius has put out. But I wanted to do this one because it's a large scale, it's a really good sculpt, and I love Batgirl. Yvonne Craig was just awesome. I had a crush on her when I was a kid, which probably a lot of people did. But this is the kit I'm going to work on, and this is for the spring build through the Model Shop Google Plus page. I'll put a link at the bottom so you can go and check it out. A lot of good guys. If you got questions, just ask. Somebody will give you one answer, or maybe more than one answer. But it's a really good group of guys, and I encourage anybody that is starting modeling or whatever to join that page and just share what you're doing, and they'll share what they're doing, and we can all get better at this. So let's get to the kit. Here are most of the pieces to the kit. The packs that go around in the belt buckle I have in another spot because they're tiny pieces. I don't want to lose them. The base, which is substantial and got really good weight to it. I've done a test fit on this already after I washed everything. Here's the torso. This part is separate, the glove, same here, and then the arm attaches. Then the upper torso fits onto the body. It's a really clean cast. The face, which I have stuck together, but the face inserts, and then the mask on the cowl goes on top of that. Now, I've done some research on colors and costume and stuff. There are some inaccuracies. The back of the cowl here doesn't actually, it's not actually straight. It actually goes down to a point like this, so I will probably try and correct that. The cape, which is, this is plastic, which is good because there is a fit issue. As you can see here, it doesn't touch the arm, which it needs to because of gravity. This kind of fits in here, but when you try to push it together, it pulls the arm out of place. So this being plastic, I should be able to do the same thing I did with Batman and heat it all up, heat the plastic up, and then push it to form it the way I need. And then the head, when it goes on, it has a little bit of wobble to it, so there's going to be, I'll have to recheck that after I reform the cape. Once I reform the cape, it may fit on there just perfect. And then the other fit issue is when you put the feet in to their slots, like so, there's a little bit of a wobble here, which is mostly because of this back foot, so I'll have to address that too. I don't know whether either, I'll probably just have to build up a little bit with some Aves or something to get it a little more flat. So I'm going to start working on that and try to fix those issues. And then once I do, I'll be able to prime it, and then once I prime it, I'll come back and show you how everything fits together. Been working on the cape. What I used was a heat gun, and would just, you know, heat an edge here and get the plastic really hot so I could move it and manipulate it. So leaving it on the torso here, the top torso, I just take a rag while it was hot, because it's too hot to touch, and just keep pushing this down. And at one point I was even just holding it, you know, until it would cool off and hold. This side I did the same thing. I even used a toothpick to poke this down into her hand here. I may tweak with that a little bit more, although it still looks fairly straight. Looks close enough. I'll look at it tomorrow and see if I need to change it at all. But this is coming together just the way I needed it to, and it's looking pretty good. And I need to move on to the next step. First thing I want to change on this kit is this belt. To me, it sticks out too far from the hips. It's way too thick. So what I want to do is I want to take it off. So the way I'm going to take it off, hopefully not damage too much, is what I've started doing is on the inside here where the lip is, I've started taking the back of an X-Acto blade and just scraping around like this. Now this takes a long time, but you get a clean cut, and then I should be able to once this is off, I should be able to, you know, go in and thin this out. I mean, I'll probably have to make it smaller, obviously, to put it back on here, but I'll be able to do that with a Dremel, and then I can 5-minute epoxy it back on so it'll be a little bit thinner, and when I put it back on the torso, it'll look more like a real belt instead of, you know, this real thick thing that it is right now. So I'll keep doing that, and then I'll come back when I get it off and show you what it looks like. As you can see, I got the belt off. I've already gone through with the Dremel and kind of thinned it down some. I'll go with a another bit on there to refine it a little bit more. And it did break on me, but it's okay. It's a clean break. So once it's CA glued on there, you won't be able to tell that there was a break. So now, as you can see, I'll be able to fit it on a lot closer to the waist, and it'll look more realistic. So what I need to do now is take the bottom part and the upper torso. I need to pin it and 5-minute epoxy it. Then I can come back in with some Aves epoxy sculpt and fill this in and fit the belt around it. I will have to cut the belt right here where the buckle goes so that I'll have two pieces. It'll be easier for me to get it on there. So I'm gonna pin and glue this, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Got the two halves together. So now I've taken some Aves epoxy sculpt. This is the natural color. Equal parts of both. I've mixed them together, and I use a safety solvent. It doesn't break down the consistency of the clay. So what I'm going to do is take a tool, like a little dental tool. I have two of them, this one and then one that's flat. And I'm just going to start putting it in the cracks and going all the way around. If it starts sticking to the tool, just dip it in some of that safety solvent and it'll help it slide. It's not difficult, so I'm going to work on this and get it done, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. The Aves is dry, and I've sanded it all down. Obviously most of it's going to get covered up with the belt, but I've gone through with the belt and I've taken a Dremel and thinned it all down quite a bit, so it'll be a little bit more flush to the body, using some poster tack to hold this piece in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some 5-minute epoxy and secure it, probably secure it here, and then take my heat gun and heat this up so that I can get it to form closer to the body, and then I'll put more epoxy there and do the same thing with the other piece all the way around, get it close to the body. Once I do, then I'll see how much space is here, if I need to do any backfilling or anything. It doesn't look like I'll have to, but I'll just have to see once I get it all in place. So I will piece the belt all on and together, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Now the belt has been glued on. There's going to be some spots to fix. I had actually cut this right perfectly straight, and when I did, it broke off right here too, so I still have the piece, but I may just go ahead and put some epoxy sculpt in there, because the buckle's going to cover that. What I've done is I drilled some holes here at the seam line of the glove, and cut some paper clip and inserted it into the holes with some super glue, and then kind of bent them over to you know, try to match the other side. So now I just need to get the Aves and put it on there. Changed my mind. What I did is I wound up just taking some styrene and tracing these onto the styrene, and then cutting them out and sanding them. I did super glue some piece of paper clip in there, since I'd already had these holes drilled. So what I'll do is work some more on sanding and try to get them to look a little bit better, and then glue them in. Then I'll probably take maybe a little bit of Aves and blend it in so it looks more like this. I removed the cowl from the hair and the neck piece, and what I've been doing is taking the Dremel and slowly shaving away what I need to in order to get that little point at the back of the cowl that comes down, and then I get it to that point, then I'll build that on the back of the cowl hair, and then I'll have to touch up some of the hair to make it look like all the rest of the hair. So with that, and then fixing the belt, I'm going to do all that, and then I'll come back in part 2 and show you what it looks like. So this is going to do it for part 1. As always, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing, and I will see you for part 2.